didn't grow up in ideal situations. There were some things that happened when I was younger that was out of my control. So I started using drugs when I was 16 years old. And it was because of situations that happened when I was younger. Verbal abuse, physical abuse. It's many forms of abuse, you know. When I got my first job in the bank, I was still using. That because of my addiction that needed to be fed constantly, having access to money even though it wasn't mine, it belonged to other people, tempted me, and I ended up committing fraud within the bank, and I lost my job in the bank. I had to struggle to get money for food because without a job, I would first buy my drug of choice, and then with the change I would buy something to eat. And I sold every single thing, from plates and spoons and knives to bedding and linen, to beds and cupboards, televisions, even the clothing on my back, even my kids' clothing, you know. I sold it to feed my habit. I had my third child, his name is Cameron. 7 years ago. Cameron has passed away. He drowned. I was at home. I was like so into my fix and wanting to smoke that I did not pay attention to my kids. My main focus was just using, and because of that, I lost him, you know. Even then, God was talking to me after he died. God was speaking to me, telling me, you need to change your life. And I chose to ignore him, you know, even after the death of Cameron. And I just went on using. So after Cameron was born, I moved here to Overcome Heights. I'm staying here in this informal settlement for, Cameron would have been 16, 15 years. My younger kids were all raised here. It's been a tough journey. My mother passed away a couple of years ago, so when she died, I felt the absence of a mother, even though the absence was there most of my life. But it did hurt inside, you know, and then I started dealing drugs, helping gangsters deal drugs outside, and then I got arrested. And I think that's when I got this awakening. I looked at my life and I said, well, the chaos of the way I'm living, people using, people dealing drugs in the street. But in the midst of all that, God has still made provision for me. He has provided U-turn and Rio to Sana to walk my journey with me so that when I do encounter challenges, I do have people that I can speak to. God has been walking with me my whole life. When I decided I will take His hand and let Him lead the way, that's when my life came together. There's no better safe space than church, you know. People have grace, people have patience, people have love, lots of love. They welcome me, you know. Now I have a healthier way of thinking and a better way of thinking, you know, and so now I'm able to keep a job and sustain my family on a daily basis. We don't appreciate small things. We don't appreciate the bread on your table that you have to feed your kids. We don't appreciate the electricity, the light that is burning in your house. Then you're never going to really appreciate when God gives you more. Amy, Jody, Kaylee, Ashley and Aileen, I want to share my story with you. I know it's hard and you might not understand it all now. But I thank God that I'm sober enough today to tell you these things.